Hi everyone, happy holidays. What a wonderful time of year this is, right? It's so exciting to have, so many celebrations and spend time with our families and loved ones and exchange gifts and just relish in all the joy this time of year brings. Except if you're anything like me, that is not the case. Actually, to be completely honest with you, I really hate holidays. I don't enjoy them at all. And, for me, that's for a lot of reasons. And for a lot of us, it's for a lot of reasons. This time of year is just plain stressful, and it tends to be especially stressful for those of us with depression or any kind of a mental illness, disability, or neurodiversity. So today in this video, I'm gonna go over a few of the reasons why this time of year can be so triggering, and that's from a physical, neurological, and spiritual point of view. Then I will go over a plan of action for what you could do before, during, and after any of these triggering or overwhelming events occur. So in all seriousness, I really hope everyone is having a wonderful holiday season, because you deserve it. But the fact is, this really does tend to be a very difficult season for many of us. I remember when I worked as a therapist and as a mental health counselor before, it was this time of year that was the hardest on everyone. Generally, it was due to an overall feeling of not being able to have the proper experience. Either families were dysfunctional, not supportive, not willing to come and visit, they couldn't go visit them, or there was no family at all. Bad memories and experiences of a past that the season just tends to bring up, whether related to this time of year or not. Then there is the expectation of being happy, which for those of us already struggling to fit in and to feel happy, the world this time of year is just overwhelming and tends to increase feelings of hopelessness. For such a wonderful time of year, it sure has a lot of struggles, doesn't it? And a lot of the time, you might find that this time of year is just extra depressing and not really have any idea why. So let's talk about that. So really quick, if you don't know, I'm Sarah Dawn, and I'm an author and an angel intuitive and a spiritual life coach. The videos on this channel, along with my blog and my books, all linked down in the description below, are primarily about healing, managing, and understanding things like depression, anxiety, mental health, and neurodiversity as part of our spiritual purpose. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe and check out my website for more information. So, well, you probably already know, right, how the ego has a tendency to jump in, take control, and cause some sort of problem or issue that ultimately ends up increasing our anxiety and depression and negative thinking, right? You know about that. If you don't, be sure to check out this video about what the ego is up here. Well, this time of year is when that problem with the ego is like the worst. In fact, this time of year, all of those expectations and what is going on around us is an optimal time for the ego to kick itself into gear and to go into full-on protection mode. What that looks like for most of us is putting on a mask of being okay, while underneath we actually feel like we're being consumed by feelings of inadequacy and even failure. Holidays are about joy, celebrations, and family. That is the expectation of this time of year. And instead, we tend to experience the ego getting triggered and going into this full protection and fear-based mode, convincing us that our biggest fears and expectations about ourselves and who we are true. I mean, if you think about how the ego was developed over the course of your lifetime, mostly while you were growing up, right? With what you were told, how you were treated, and all of that stuff. And we are right now during the season facing a time of going back through all of it. Basically, we're reliving it all again. The ego was developed by many of the people that we spend time with during the holiday, or at least those the world is telling us that we're supposed to be grateful for and happy to be around, and how much we should be giving and appreciating them. And it's not that any of that is difficult for you, but for some reason, you feel depressed, anxious, and overall crappy. And if that's you, it is probably due to what is called implicit memories that keep coming up for you. We have two kinds of memories. There's implicit memories and explicit memories. Explicit memories are the ones that you remember. With these types of memories, you can recall the event and bring up specific details of that event based on the memory. For example, like if I ask you what you had for dinner last night, that would elicit a memory that brings up details of what you were eating last night and brings them into your conscious mind. So an explicit memory is exactly what you think of when talking about a memory. An implicit memory, on the other hand, is a memory that continues to influence you in some way. So they can influence your behaviors, your beliefs, the ideas that you have, and how you react in some situations. But unlike an explicit memory, you don't remember it in the same way because it is not in your conscious mind. And so it is influencing you subconsciously or beyond your awareness. So every time you drive a car or ride a bike, at least if you know how to do those things, you're experiencing an implicit memory. So you don't have to bring anything into your conscious awareness, right? You just kind of go into autopilot and you just do it. So you hop into the car or on the bike and off you go. So all of these feelings and responses that come up, whether you're having an explicit or an implicit memory, as you can imagine, are going to be even stronger and more pronounced when we're around family and maybe even physically being put back into a place where those memories were formed in the first place. You can easily see how it can be frustrating and overwhelming and possibly even trigger trauma responses for many of us. I grew up feeling extremely depressed, and being back with family who talks and acts the way they did when I felt so depressed just brings it all back. These experiences and associated memories, be them explicit or implicit, make me feel that exact same way. Revisiting the past sounds fun at first, but for a lot of us who experience mental health issues, especially, earth angels and starseeds and highly spiritual beings with special missions that require a time of struggle and challenge and even trauma to develop and grow into the beings we need to be in order to accomplish our mission, are going to find these experiences tense, difficult, and often overpowering and overwhelming as both implicit and explicit memories begin coming up for you. All of this revisiting the past and bringing up all these memories causes some extreme emotional dysregulation in both our nervous and energetic systems. So this means it is happening on both a physical or a mental and emotional level in your body and on a spiritual level as well. Essentially, when this is happening, you are stuck between two worlds or, straddling two realities. And you can easily see how when all of this is occurring, depression and anxiety and negative thoughts and unhealthy coping strategies are going to surface. And that is even if you've already worked through all of these issues before. If you are not happy and enjoying this time of year, you're likely to feel like you're missing out on something special and important, something that everybody else is experiencing. You're just missing out, right? But even that is nothing compared to the expectation of the holiday spirit. So as I've mentioned in other videos, we have a tendency to jump into trying to be happy when feeling any kind of emotional dysregulation. And during the holidays, the pressure is really on to make sure that you can do that because you're supposed to be happy during the holidays. It's just expected. Get into the holiday spirit already. Yet no matter how well you might be masking and hiding it, if you're the one person who is not happy this time of year and you can't get yourself into the holiday spirit, you're likely to feel like a bad person on top of everything else that's going on. Or perhaps a more well-known word for it is Scrooge or Grinch, and your heart must be 2 sizes too small. So we try to resist those feelings and we try to feel and act like we're supposed to feel and act during the holidays. But those memories just keep coming up. Soon you are consumed by feelings of unworthiness, of unhappiness, and heaping spoonfuls not of joy, but of hopelessness. So all of this holiday spirit stuff is not even taking into consideration the many, many other issues that may arise during all of the festivities for those of us with neurodiversities, such as the disruption to our schedules and routines, or the need to socialize appropriately, and if you have any sensory issues, all the stimulations that are simultaneously, continuously occurring during this time of year. So another example for me is I have a lot of issues with sounds that come from people's mouths. So people crunching or lip smacking, and even the sound of like silverware clinking on plates gets my nervous system into hyperdrive, and I feel very stressed and angry and overwhelmed. So going to all of these events that are about eating is very stressful for me. The anticipation of it, being there, experiencing it, and afterwards where I might regret, either I'm exhausted from trying to get through it, or I may regret a reaction that I had while it was there, and that barely begins to even cover the overstimulation that comes from this time of year for me. So as a highly sensitive and empathic person, you may be and are likely to be dealing with these types of things that are outside of your control and making you feel like even more of an outsider who can't get into the expected holiday spirit. It can be hard enough to feel like you fit into the world enough as it is, or to feel like you're as happy as you're supposed to be on a day-to-day basis. But all of these events and expectations that are going on this time of year really intensify this for so many of us. So this really doesn't cover like anywhere near all the reasons that holidays can be difficult for so many of us, especially for us highly sensitive spiritual beings. But it does go over a few of the reasons that this year can and often does feel so triggering, overwhelming, and difficult for us to get through. So let's talk about what you can do before, during, and after any of these triggering events or challenges come up for you so you can get through this holiday season. And remember, you are not alone. There are many of us with these struggles and challenges, and you can always call on your angels to help at any time, to help you deal with, cope with, or get through any situation. The angels are there, ready, waiting, and more than willing to help you through anything at all. So be sure to keep an eye out for signs and synchronicities that your angels are sending to guide you and protect you through all of this. If you know you are going into a potentially difficult or triggering situation, be it like going home for holiday dinner or going shopping or whatever it is that you can predict has the potential to bring up anything for you, be sure to use these techniques before you go. So I really recommend that you sit down and do an honest inventory of any of the events that might be triggering for you, and be honest with yourself. Try to come up with as many events that trigger a negative response in you, even if it seems small or insignificant, or if it doesn't matter, because it does, because you matter. And this time of year, those little things add up to big things. So first things first, ensure you have reasonable expectations before going out or doing anything that you know has the potential to trigger you. Family will be family. Memories, emotions, and thoughts will come up. So go into any and all situations with a knowledge of what you're getting into. Then use any coping skills that you already know work, and be willing to allow yourself the space you need to deal with whatever may come up in these situations. This is common sense, but it's a good reminder, especially when things are already so overstimulating like it is this time of year. So before you go to any of these events and before you leave your comfortable space, your comfortable, safe space, close your eyes and take a deep breath and imagine you are surrounded by a white bubble of spiritual divine light. Ask the angels to help you with this. The angels can just put this bubble of light around you. This is a bubble of protection that negative energy cannot penetrate. The point of this is to keep you energetically protected and keep negative energy from entering into your energetic field. Now, this bubble of protection will keep energy both in and out, which is extremely helpful. But something you can also do that might be even better, or when in the right situation, is to imagine this light or this bubble around you as the color pink. Pink energetically carries the energy of love. So a pink bubble will still provide a protective barrier to keep negative energy out, but will ensure the love and positivity you have to give will still be able to get out and reach the people outside. And it will also let the love and positivity into you. Another extremely helpful thing to do before going into these triggering situations, especially if it involves family or is likely to bring up those implicit memories we talked about, is to have a conversation with your inner child. So this is easy. Just close your eyes and picture your inner child is sitting in front of you. If it helps, you can get like a stuffed animal or a doll and just put that in front of you as like a physical placeholder for your inner child. And then you just talk to them. Talk to your inner child like you would any child of that age. What are you going to do? What might come up? What is the plan for dealing with it? And then let your inner child know that they don't have to deal with it. Whatever happens, they don't have to deal with it this time. That you're going to take care of whatever comes up. And no matter what, your inner child is loved and safe. So do and say whatever you feel your inner child needs to hear and know. Perhaps even consider giving your inner child a hug, either in your mind or if you have a stuffed animal, give your inner child the affection that they need and crave before you even step out the door. Okay, so now let's talk about what to do when those extremely triggering and emotional moments come up as they're coming up. So first of all, remember, thoughts and feelings are not necessarily true. They're just aspects of the current experience that you're having. You want to get them under control so they're not overwhelming you and making you feel even worse, but they're not bad. And how you respond or feel in any given situation is not bad either. None of this is bad. Do not judge yourself. So in order to get control of these emotions, you are going to breathe and shift. So excuse yourself, go to the bathroom or go outside or go anywhere you need where you can take the time you need to just regulate yourself. This doesn't have to take long, but just go somewhere where you can regulate yourself. And it's okay to take this time for yourself. If you're feeling really bad, it may help to imagine how many of us are actually out there feeling and doing the same thing while going through something similar. There's a lot of us, trust me, you're not alone here at all. What I like about using these techniques, especially since you're going to be needing to use them while you're in a state of distress and being overwhelmed, is that it's an acronym. Nobody can really be expected to just watch a video or read an article or a blog post and just remember all of this. So this way, having an acronym makes it a lot easier. So you take a deep breath, center yourself, and shift. SHIFT. Get it? So you shift your emotions, you're going to shift your state of being and so on. But there's an extra T because, this is a special kind of shift. S is for sensations. Begin by noticing what is going on with your body. This is the sensations you have both inside and outside of your physical body. So do you have a racing and pounding heart? What's your body temperature? Do you feel flushed? What do you feel? Is there tension in your shoulders or in your body anywhere? Do you have a headache? Are your eyes open wider than they usually are? Are you breathing heavily? You get the picture. What are the sensations that you're feeling and experiencing inside and out? Once you've done that, we go to H, honor your experience. Okay, this means accepting whatever it is that you're feeling and experiencing. You accept that this situation has in fact caused you distress. It is time now to accept, embrace, and try to understand on a deeper level what is going on. Even while in the midst of being triggered, just take the time to honor yourself and your experience by facing it and not resisting or hiding from it. And now we have I. This is images. So once you've done that, take notice of any images that come to your mind. What memories might be coming up for you? Okay, what are you doing? Just observe these images. Don't judge them. And F is for feelings. So now you're going to give what you are feeling or experiencing a name. Nothing fancy here. Just, I feel sad. I feel angry. I'm freaking pissed off. It's helplessness, hopelessness, depression, anxiety, ambivalence, whatever it is. Give the feeling and what is going on a name. Just label what you feel. You'd be surprised at how much this can tame some of those out of control emotions just by itself. And the first T in shift is thoughts. And what you're going to do is identify any corresponding thoughts, realizing that they're just thoughts coming from the ego. Allow yourself to have the thought, even if it's completely over the top. Again, remember, it's okay. Thoughts are just thoughts. We have them to process our experiences, not because they are true or even an indication of who we are as people. They're just thoughts. If you have the thought, I wish I was never born, or I hate my family, I wish I could beat my mother over the head with that pan she's using, whatever it is, don't judge yourself and don't judge the thought. It's just a stinking thought. Here it is. There it goes. In fact, I even encourage you at this point to go ahead and exaggerate what you're thinking or feeling. Intentionally make it over the top. Then you can't make yourself feel bad for it because you're doing it on purpose. Stretch that thought to the extreme and be okay with it. It's okay. If you have violent thoughts, it doesn't make you a violent or bad person. You're still fine. Nobody's judging you for it. Don't judge yourself for it either. And the second T in this shift is turn inward. Now that you've identified and named all of that stuff going on in your physical body and you've tamed that ego voice, you're likely to notice that you're feeling a bit better at this point, like more calm and more in control. And that means that it's time to turn inward. So here you will close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask your soul what it has to tell you about this situation. Then you can compare the point of view of your ego that you're already well aware of with the perspective of your soul, of your higher self. So what are we learning from this? Can we grow from this? What is the purpose of all of this? What's the purpose and the point of this experience? For an example, you've identified what is the concern or the precipitating event. So say my mother keeps looking at me and she just looks upset or disappointed. So my ego perspective, those thoughts that I was having are, I hate myself. Everybody hates me. I can't do anything right. I suck. The world would be better off without me. So now that you've identified all of that, even if it's over the top, it's okay. Now you ask your soul or your higher self what it has to say. And it says holidays are often difficult and stressful times. I may not know exactly how this is going to help me right now, but it will serve my highest good if I allow it. Okay, now my example doesn't give a direct, clear answer, right? Because that can happen. So I wanted to use that as an example, but that's not always the case. So when you do this, be sure to pay attention to the resulting thoughts and feelings that come to you. Pay attention to your inner wisdom, signs, synchronicities, all of that stuff, because your soul And your angels can keep talking to you and informing you of why this may be occurring in your life and why it's important, which makes it way easier to deal with. You know what I mean? So at this point, you want to be on the lookout for positive, uplifting thoughts that are often going to be related to some kind of self-growth or self-understanding or achieving a goal or dream that you have. So examples of that might be, this is going to help me at my job. It's going to help me understand myself as a person better, get to know my authentic self. This is going to help me heal from the past and be a better version of myself. Or it's going to help me be a better partner in my relationship, things like that. And now, once all is said and done, there's just a bit more to do. And I would say to do these following techniques after each and every triggering event that you experience. And then at least once when the entire season is just over. So, February, make sure you do these techniques again and just clear the energy of the entire season and even the entire year before, because these techniques are all about clearing your energy and you can't do it too often. So every time you interact with someone or something, you become energetically connected to it. A cord between you and that person is created, and that cord connects you to that person, and energy can be exchanged, because that's what happens when we connect with people. We're exchanging energy, and that cord is how that happens. It's really not good to keep that cord attached when the interaction is particularly draining or negative in any way. So you really want to cut these cords and attachments so that they can no longer affect you and drain your energy after the fact. So the first thing I recommend doing is just ask the Archangel Michael to sever and cut any cords and any attachments that are no longer needed or necessary for you to have. Just ask Michael, cut all of these for me. Thank you for cutting these cords that I no longer need. And you can visualize him with a sword cutting through these attachments, or you can just ask him. It doesn't matter, whatever works best for you. And in addition to that, I like to ask the Archangel Raphael to then come and send healing energy to both sides of that severed attachment, of that severed cord. So to both you, to heal what you've been through and experienced, and to also heal whomever it was attached to at the other end. These are often, so often, especially this time of year, family members and loved ones that trigger us. So Raphael will help you heal from the experience and attachment with them and whatever may have happened, while also sending healing, loving energy to them as well. It's win-win. The last thing that I always like to do and I recommend doing is smudging. So open a window, open a door. You need a place for negative energy to escape. And with the intention of releasing any negative energy and allowing positivity, learning, and growth, and anything that you're meant to receive from this into your experience. I recommend using sage or Palo Santo. Either one of those are wonderful for clearing negative energy. This is what Palo Santo looks like, and I really love using this anytime depression or anxiety is involved, because just the smell of it smells really good. Is actually known to help elevate emotions. So I like using this. And all you do is light it and make sure you get the smoke all around you. Maybe even breathe a little bit of it in, and it is going to release that negative energy. It's all going to go out that empty window or door that you have. And once you've done that to clear the negative energy, I like to follow up with some sweetgrass. It's often in a braid like this, and it smells so good. But sweetgrass attracts positive energy, so now you're getting rid of the negative energy, clearing all that energy out, and then using sweetgrass to attract the positive energy, the learning, the growth, the healing, and all that stuff you need to you. Okay, so I hope you found this information helpful for understanding yourself a bit more, and of course for getting through some of these tougher times that may come up for you during this holiday season. And obviously you can use this, plan this before, during, and after stuff for any kind of triggering situation throughout the year to just about getting those emotions under control. So use it whenever it might be useful for you. But above all else, be it a difficult, challenging time during the holidays or any other time throughout the year, just remember that you're not alone. There are just so many of us with similar experiences and feelings and even thoughts that get what you're going through. And you're not alone spiritually either. You've got so many angels and guides and an entire spiritual support team to help you with anything that you need. And are you interested in learning how to use and work with the angels in your spiritual healing practice for depression and mental health? If you are, be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be getting into more detail about the depression angels after this and how to work with them. And don't be fooled by the name. These angels are extremely helpful and can help you achieve a level of joy that you may not otherwise have ever thought possible. And in the meantime, to learn how to connect, talk to, and hear the angels, be sure to check out this playlist right here. And for more information about depression and spirituality, check out this one. As always, I'm sending a ton of love and blessings to you all. May your holidays and every day be blessed. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.